All right, let's dive into some veggies. We're talking about the top 10 healthiest vegetables today.
Ooh, sounds delicious.
Yeah, well, at least healthy, right?
Yeah.
According to Dr. Sten Ekberg,
Okay.
who was a chiropractor and all about natural health.
Yeah.
We're basing this on his YouTube video
Okay.
called Top 10 Healthiest Vegetables You Must Eat.
All right.
And what I like about it is that he actually breaks it all down.
He does.
He doesn't just give you the top 10 list. He gives you all his reasoning, the nutritional highlights,
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff.
He even talks about organic versus conventional produce.
Yeah.
And how the impact of food can affect our gut health.
And really interesting stuff in there. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what his list is and if any of it surprises us.
I know, me too.
Should we start with number 10?
Let's do it.
All right.
Starting at number 10, we have garlic,
Okay.
which has a long-standing reputation for its medicinal properties.
Yeah, it's like an old wives' tale almost, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, if you're feeling sick, have some garlic.
Yeah, your grandma probably told you that.
Yes, she did.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
Dr. Ekberg highlights allicin,
Okay.
which is the active compound in garlic that actually gives it that pungent aroma.
It's a strong smell,
Yeah, it is.
but it's so good.
I love it.
Yeah, but there's got to be more to it than just, like a general sense of it being healthy, right?
Absolutely.
What else is there?
Well, Dr. Ekberg explains that those sulfur compounds in garlic, like allicin,
Okay.
actually help your body produce glutathione.
Glutathione.
Yes, and glutathione is a powerful antioxidant
Oh, okay.
that helps protect your cells from damage.
So it's working on like a deeper level than we might think.
Exactly. It's not just a surface-level health benefit.
That's pretty interesting.
It is.
Now, I know he mentioned something about APHODMAPs and SIBO,
Yes.
which I've heard can be kind of like tricky for some people.
Right.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so APHODMAPs are types of carbohydrates that can be hard to digest,
Okay.
especially for people who have SIBO
Yeah.
or small intestine bacterial overgrowth.
Okay.
Basically, they ferment in the gut,
Hmm.
which can lead to things like bloating, gas, and discomfort.
Not fun.
Not fun at all.
So what's the solution there?
Well, Dr. Ekberg actually suggests soaking garlic in onions, which are high in FODMPs.
Soaking them. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a simple trick that can help reduce the digestive issues for those who are sensitive.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it's not something you hear every day.
So moving on to number 9 on his list,
Okay.
we have onions.
Not a huge surprise.
Not a huge surprise there.
Nope.
But what makes them so special nutritionally?
Well, Dr. Ekberg really emphasizes the importance of minerals,
Okay.
like potassium and magnesium.
Okay.
And both onions and garlic are abundant in these minerals,
Okay.
which, by the way, play a vital role in many of our bodily functions.
What kinds of functions are we talking?
Well, everything from muscle and nerve function to blood sugar regulation
Wow.
and even blood pressure control.
Okay, so they're really important.
Extremely important.
But he's saying a lot of people are deficient.
Many people are, yes.
Interesting.
So getting those through your diet is crucial.
So it's really interesting, like these simple vegetables
Yeah,
are really important.
they are.
And it seems like they're a lot more important than we might realize.
Absolutely.
Now that kind of leads into Dr. Ekberg's selection criteria, right?
It does.
So what are his main priorities when choosing these vegetables?
Well, he really prioritizes vegetables that are low in carbs and sugar,
Okay.
high in nutrients like potassium and magnesium,
Okay.
and readily available year-round.
Okay.
He considers things like serving size,
Interesting.
his personal taste preferences, of course,
Encore.
and even the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists.
The Dirty Dozen.
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
They-
Could you explain those lists a little bit more? Like, what are they?
So the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 are lists published by the Environmental Working Group.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit organization that analyzes pesticide residue levels in produce.
Okay.
The Dirty Dozen highlights the 12 fruits and vegetables with the highest levels of pesticide contamination,
Okay.
while the Clean 15 lists those with the lowest levels.
So if you're concerned about pesticides, that's a good list to check out.
Absolutely, it's a great resource.
Now, before we move on to the top 8, I know Dr. Ekberg has some honorable mentions.
He does.
Those vegetables that didn't quite make the top 10,
Right,
but are still worth including in our diets.
definitely.
So what are those?
He mentions mushrooms, green beans, celery,
Okay.
asparagus, parsley, and eggplant.
Okay.
He even provides a color coding system in his video.
Oh, interesting.
So green indicates vegetables on the Clean 15 list.
Okay.
Red signifies those on the Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
And white represents vegetables not included on either list.
So it's like a visual guide
Exactly.
to help us make better choices.
Yeah, it's a nice little tool.
I like that.
It's helpful.
Now, getting back to the top 10,
Yes.
what vegetable claims the number 8 spot?
At number 8, we have Brussels sprouts,
Okay.
a member of the cruciferous vegetable family known for their liver-supporting properties.
Oh, interesting.
They also contain a compound called camphorol,
Camphorol.
which has been studied for its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits.
I've definitely heard about cruciferous veggies being good for you,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard that much about the liver support aspect.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of our bodies and how different foods can impact different systems.
And moving on to number 7, we have tomatoes,
Ooh, tomatoes.
which are technically a fruit, right?
That's right, they are.
But we're going to include them in our veggie list today.
Of course.
So what makes them so worthy of a spot on his list?
Well, tomatoes are packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, including things like lycopene and lutein, which are beneficial for eye health.
That's good.
But Dr. Ekberg makes an important point here.
Okay.
He encourages us to look at the bigger picture rather than getting fixated on specific compounds.
So it's not about obsessing over every little nutrient.
No, not at all.
It's about enjoying a variety of healthy foods.
Exactly.
I like that message.
It's a good one.
All right, coming in at number 6 is cabbage.
Cabbage.
Yeah, it's so affordable
It is.
and so versatile.
Absolutely.
But what makes it a nutritional superstar?
Well, Dr. Ekberg praises cabbage for its high vitamin C content.
Right?
But what's really interesting is its potential for boosting gut health.
Gut health is so important these days.
It is.
Everybody's talking about
For
it.
good reason.
Yeah.
He specifically mentions its fiber content,
Okay.
which is crucial for feeding the beneficial bacteria in our gut
Okay.
and promoting a healthy gut environment.
I remember him also talking about fermented cabbage like sauerkraut.
Yes.
How does that play into gut health?
So sauerkraut is a fermented food,
Okay.
which means it's rich in probiotics.
Probiotics. Everybody's taking probiotics these days.
It seems like it.
It seems like it.
And they're so important for digestion and immunity.
Yeah.
But Dr. Ekberg actually compares probiotics to seeds
Okay.
that need fertile soil to thrive.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying that just taking a probiotic supplement
Yeah.
might not be effective
Okay.
if your gut environment isn't healthy to begin with.
So it's like you have to prepare the ground first
Exactly.
before you plant those seeds.
Precisely.
I like that.
So it all starts with cutting back on sugar,
Okay.
increasing fiber intake, and incorporating fermented foods like sauerkraut
Yeah.
into your diet.
To create that healthy foundation.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to number 5. Bell peppers.
Bell peppers, yes.
Another source of vitamin C, but what sets them apart?
Well, Dr. Ekberg points out that bell peppers offer a good dose of vitamin C without the high sugar content of fruits like oranges.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you get the vitamin C without all the sugar.
Exactly.
And of course, they're so versatile.
Oh, incredibly versatile.
You can eat them raw, you can cook them.
Swim roast them, stuff them.
So many possibilities. Now let's move on to number 4, which is cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
So why is this such a favorite in the health world?
Cauliflower is a low-carb favorite
Okay.
that Dr. Ekberg highlights for its high potassium content
Okay.
and its versatility as a substitute for potatoes and rice.
Yeah, you can make cauliflower rice, cauliflower mash,
Pizza crust.
cauliflower pizza crust.
It's amazing.
It's become a staple in the low-carb world.
Absolutely.
But he did issue a warning about made with cauliflower products, right?
He did.
What was that about?
He cautions us against assuming that something is healthy just because it contains cauliflower.
Oh.
A lot of those processed products are actually loaded with carbs and other unhealthy ingredients.
So you had to be careful and read the labels.
Always read the labels.
All right, we're officially in the top 3 now.
Here we go.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
In 3rd place, we have another cruciferous veggie. Broccoli. It's so nutrient-packed and low in carbs.
And what's interesting is that Dr. Ekberg challenges the way we talk about food and disease.
Okay, what do you mean?
He takes issue with the language of treating conditions with food.
Interesting.
Instead, he emphasizes that food supports overall health, rather than acting as a targeted treatment for specific ailments.
So it's more about prevention.
Yes.
And creating a healthy environment in our bodies.
Exactly.
Rather than thinking that food is going to magically cure diseases.
It's not a magic bullet.
Yeah.
It's about creating a foundation for well-being.
Now, for number 2, we have lettuce.
Lettuce.
A humble, leafy green.
Oh, who knew?
I know. But Dr. Ekberg champions it for its variety, its nutrient density, and its fiber content.
It's more than just salads.
That's true.
You can use it in wraps, as burger buns.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You can even use it as a base for grain-free bowls.
Okay.
Get creative with it.
That's a great reminder that healthy eating doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly.
There's always room for creativity in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And now, for the grand finale, the #1 pick.
I think I can guess.
I think you can too.
Avocado.
Avocado. No surprise there.
It's a crowd favorite.
But I'm curious to hear why Dr. Ekberg considers it the ultimate winner.
Well, avocados are low in net carbs.
Okay.
Thanks to their high fiber content.
Okay.
They're packed with potassium.
Okay.
And they're very filling, which is unusual for a non-starchy vegetable.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that you eat an avocado, you feel full.
Exactly.
It's not like eating, a head of lettuce.
Not at all.
And they're so versatile.
Oh, incredible.
You can put them in smoothies, salads, toast,
Guacamole.
even desserts.
Yes.
Plus, it ranks #1 on the Clean 15 list.
So you don't have to worry about pesticides as much.
Exactly.
It's a win-win.
So there you have it.
The top 10.
Dr. Ekberg's top 10 healthiest vegetables.
Each one a nutritional powerhouse.
Yeah.
With unique benefits.
But this is just the beginning of our deep dive.
That's right.
We're going to explore more of Dr. Ekberg's insights in part 2.
Absolutely.
And delve deeper into things like organic versus conventional produce.
We'll talk more about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15.
And of course, the impact of food on gut health.
Can't forget gut health.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
After a short break.
With part 2.
Of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive on Dr. Ekberg's top 10 healthiest vegetables.
All right, so before we get back to the countdown,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something that Dr. Ekberg talked about,
Okay.
which is the whole idea of organic versus conventional.
Yeah, he really dislikes those terms, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He prefers to call it conventional and poison.
Yeah, which is definitely a stronger way to put it.
It definitely gets your attention.
But he brings up a good point.
He does.
The idea of spraying food with chemicals
Yeah.
is actually a pretty recent thing in the history of agriculture.
Yeah, you're right.
So calling it conventional
Right.
sort of implies this long-standing tradition.
When in reality, it's a relatively new practice.
Exactly.
It really makes you think
It does.
about food production and the use of pesticides in a new light.
Now, he really drives this point home
Yeah.
when he talks about the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists,
Okay.
which we touched on earlier.
We did.
But could you remind us what those are
Sure.
and why they're important?
So the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 are lists that are put out by the Environmental Working Group,
Okay.
which is a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
They analyze pesticide residues on produce,
Okay.
and they rank them accordingly.
Okay.
So the Dirty Dozen highlights the 12 fruits and vegetables with the highest levels of pesticide contamination,
Okay.
and the Clean 15 lists those with the lowest.
So for people who want to reduce their exposure to pesticides,
Yes.
but maybe can't buy everything organic, these lists are a really good resource.
Absolutely.
Now, what does Dr. Ekberg say about using these lists?
Well, he points out that if budget is a concern,
Okay, which it is for a lot of people.
it is these days.
Yeah.
He suggests prioritizing organic for the items on the Dirty Dozen,
Okay.
like spinach and kale, for example,
Okay.
and then choosing conventional options for those on the Clean 15.
Like avocados and onions.
Exactly.
So it's all about, making choices and prioritizing.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's get back to the countdown.
Okay.
We left off with lettuce holding the #2 spot.
It did.
And of course, topping the list is avocado,
Of course.
which Dr. Ekberg calls the most perfect plant creation ever.
High praise.
I know. So do you agree?
Well, avocado definitely has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
Dr. Ekberg highlights its low net carbs due to its high fiber content,
Okay.
the rich potassium levels,
Yeah.
and it's very filling, which is unusual for a non-starchy vegetable.
I've definitely noticed that.
Right. You eat avocado, you feel full.
Yeah.
And it's #1 on the Clean 15 list.
So you don't have to worry so much about the pesticides.
Exactly.
Now, besides the top 10 list itself,
Okay.
Dr. Ekberg also talks a lot about gut health,
He does.
specifically the role of fiber and fermented foods.
Right.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure.
What are his main points there?
He really emphasizes that fiber is crucial
Okay.
for feeding the beneficial bacteria in our gut,
Okay.
which play a vital role in our digestion,
Okay.
our immunity,
Okay.
and even mental health.
Wow. I didn't realize it was connected to mental health.
It's all connected.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he encourages the consumption of fermented foods.
Like sauerkraut.
Exact.
which are rich in probiotics.
Right. And he's actually pretty skeptical about relying solely on probiotic supplements.
I remember that.
He stresses that just taking a pill
Okay.
may not be enough
Okay.
if your gut environment isn't healthy to begin with.
So it's like, you have to create that healthy foundation first.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Well, it starts with cutting back on sugar
Okay.
because sugar actually feeds the harmful bacteria.
Okay.
Then you want to increase your fiber intake to nourish the good bacteria. And then incorporating those fermented foods, like sauerkraut, introduces even more of the beneficial bacteria.
So it's like creating a balanced ecosystem in your gut.
Exactly.
Not just throwing probiotics at the problem.
It's a holistic approach.
And it ties back to his point about food supporting overall health.
It does.
Rather than treating specific conditions.
Right. By nourishing our gut,
Okay.
we're supporting the foundation of our well-being.
Now, I also noticed that he seems to be pushing back against this idea of obsessing over specific nutrients or superfoods.
Yeah, he's not a fan of that.
So what does he say about that?
Well, he encourages us to look at the bigger picture, to focus on a variety of healthy foods, rather than getting caught up in the minutia of specific compounds.
So it's more about like enjoying a diverse range of vegetables, fruits, other whole foods, rather than stressing over every gram of protein or milligram of vitamin C.
Make it enjoyable, not a science experiment.
Exactly.
It's about making it sustainable.
Now, speaking of enjoying healthy choices.
Okay.
I love how Dr. Ekberg actually gives us practical ideas.
He does.
For incorporating these vegetables into our meal.
He does.
He doesn't just tell us to eat them.
Yeah.
He actually gives us specific ways to prepare them.
Right.
And make them delicious.
Make it fun.
Yeah.
He encourages us to think beyond salads, to get creative, try new things.
Okay.
Roasted vegetables, stir fries, soups.
Yeah.
Even using vegetables as substitutes.
Yeah, like cauliflower rice instead of white rice.
Exactly.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
And I think that's what really makes a difference in the long run.
It does.
Finding ways to make healthy habits.
It's sustainable and enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick with it.
It's not going to last.
Exactly.
So that's what Dr. Ekberg's approach is all about.
Okay.
Empowering us to make informed choices.
Okay.
That support our overall health and well-being.
So it all starts with appreciating the power of these simple, yet incredible vegetables.
Absolutely.
So the next time you're planning a meal, consider incorporating some of Dr. Ekberg's top 10 picks.
Great idea.
Experiment with different flavors, textures, cooking methods.
Find what you enjoy.
Yeah, find what you enjoy.
Remember, healthy eating doesn't have to be complicated.
It doesn't.
It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time.
And that's a great point to kind of pause on for now.
Okay.
But stay tuned, because in part 3, we'll be answering listener questions.
Ooh, I love this part.
And we'll share some of our own personal tips for making these vegetables even more delicious. Can't wait.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive
into
Dr. Ekberg's top 10 healthiest vegetables. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
His criteria, the nutritional stars themselves.
The gut health connection.
Yeah, even challenged some of those common ideas about food as medicine.
Right, thinking bigger picture.
Exactly.
It's not about targeting specific conditions.
But before we wrap things up, let's get to some of those listener questions.
I love this part.
Yeah, me too.
What are they asking?
All right, the first one's about cooking methods.
Okay.
So, somebody's wondering,
Yeah.
Does cooking vegetables destroy their nutrients?
Wow, good question.
Is it better to eat them raw?
It's a common concern.
What are your thoughts?
Well, it's true that some cooking methods, like boiling, can cause some water-soluble vitamins to leach out into the water.
Okay, like vitamin C and B vitamins.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean we should never cook our veggies, right?
Oh, definitely not. In fact, some vegetables actually become more nutritious when cooked.
That's interesting.
Because cooking can break down cell walls, making certain nutrients more bioavailable.
Lycopene in tomato.
Exactly. That's a perfect example.
Okay, so cooked tomatoes are actually better.
For lycopene absorption, yes.
That's interesting.
So it really comes down to variety.
Okay, so a mix of raw and cooked.
Exactly.
Okay.
You get a wider range of nutrients that way.
Makes sense.
And don't be afraid to experiment with different cooking methods.
Okay, like what?
Steaming, roasting, stir-frying.
Oh, yeah.
They all preserve nutrients while adding different flavors and textures.
Okay, so get creative in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Okay, we have another listener question.
Okay.
This one is about portion sizes.
Right.
specifically avocados.
Okay.
They say,
yeah.
Dr. Ekberg mentions eating several avocados a day.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that a lot of fat?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Even though it's healthy fat. We still need to be mindful of portions.
Especially if you're watching your calorie intake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, Dr. Ekberg is very clear that his recommendations are based on his own needs.
Right. His lifestyle.
Which might be very different from yours or mine.
It's a good reminder that we all have different needs.
We do.
Yeah. What works for one person might not work for everybody.
Exactly.
So listen to your body.
Yeah.
And adjust your portions accordingly.
Now, what are some of your favorite ways to incorporate these top 10 vegetables?
Ooh, I love roasting vegetables.
Oh, roasting is amazing.
It brings out their natural sweetness.
Yes.
And it creates this beautiful caramelization.
What are your favorites to roast?
I love Brussels sprouts, cauliflower.
Those are great.
Broccoli.
Yes. Roasted broccoli is delicious.
So good.
Just toss them with a little olive oil.
Yeah.
Salt, pepper, maybe some garlic powder.
Oh, yeah.
Roast them until they're nice and tender with those crispy edges.
Yes. And bell peppers.
Bell peppers are fantastic.
Yeah, they get all sweet.
Add them to a sandwich or a salad.
Oh, that's a good idea.
What about salads?
I mean, I love a good salad.
Me too.
You know, mix of lettuces,
Okay.
some chopped bell peppers, shredded cabbage, sliced avocado, of course.
Can't forget the avocado.
And maybe some grilled onions for a little extra flavor.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Now for a quick and easy meal.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with a stir fry.
Stir fries are so easy.
Yeah, just throw in some garlic, onions, broccoli, cauliflower.
All right.
And serve it over cauliflower rice.
Oh, that's a good one.
For a low-carb, nutrient-packed dinner.
So many options with cauliflower rice these days.
And speaking of cabbage,
okay.
Coleslaw, sauerkraut.
Classic.
You can even stuff it.
Yeah, cabbage rolls.
Yeah.
So hearty and delicious.
The possibilities really are endless.
They are.
And that's what's so great about these vegetables.
I know.
They're not only good for you,
right.
but they're so versatile.
Yeah.
And they can be so delicious.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
right.
I want to leave you with this thought.
All right.
If food truly is medicine,
yeah.
What are you prescribing for yourself?
That's a great question.
It really makes you think about the choices we're making.
It does.
Yeah, and how those choices affect our health and well-being.
And by incorporating these top 10 vegetables or any variety of colorful, fresh produce,
exactly,
we're making an investment in our long-term health.
It's about supporting our energy levels.
Yes.
Our vitality.
Our overall sense of well-being.
Exactly.
It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's not about deprivation.
It's about progress.
Enjoyment.
Finding a sustainable way to nourish ourselves.
With nature's bounty.
Exactly. So go ahead.
Experiment with these vegetables.
Try new recipes.
Find delicious ways to enhance your meals.
Right.
And enhance your health.
And until next time, happy eating.
Happy eating, everyone.